Hello, George, and I've been passionate about digitalizing and bringing reality into pixels for my whole life, and that drove my career from starting a video game company to becoming a researcher and scientist in computer and graphics. And that was set until we found a fascinating problem that made us found our company, Seddi. And that fascinating problem is the fashion industry. Let me talk to you a little bit about it. The fashion industry is based on garments, and a garment has a design cycle where you have to first receive a fabric sample that someone is bringing in a suitcase and assemble a garment, a physical sample of a garment, and ship it overseas and hope that the design, the planning, and the annotations are good enough, so you have to repeat this cycle many times. And this is producing thousands of samples, physical samples, that are wasted in the end. And if you think that's inefficient, when you think about what happens when they have to sell it, and because they cannot test the market without letting the customers get their hands on their product, they produce one-third of the production. One-third of the production goes directly to the landfills every year, one-third. And another third is sitting on an inventory until the discount season comes in. And if you think that online is going to solve anything, it's quite the opposite, because it's producing 35% of online returns, because the consumers need to receive the box with the garments, try them on, and in most cases they will return it. So this is highly inefficient, and we think, what's the solution? So ideally, a digital replica of the garment that you can trust in decision-making, in the production stage, in the marketing, or even in the final consumer try-on, is the answer to this problem. But currently, the solutions that we have in software are not and will never be good enough to deliver this to reality. So we're talking about the big market size, where less than 50% of those 2 billion is currently served. And it's served by software that is focused in 2D digitalization. Being a concern for most executives in this industry, 3D is not being addressed properly. So what's the reason? Many of you have seen probably synthetic garments in movies or video games. Can you spot the difference between these two images? Here? Oh, there's none. Visually, there is none. But the one in the left was produced by an artist or a team of artists that had to spend more than 100 hours in combination or in total to produce it. And it's an asset that is not reactive. You cannot reuse it without further editing. So it's really expensive, and you cannot use this to scale in the industry. Well, the one on the right was produced following our technology and our pipeline process, which is automatic and can be reused, can be adapted to your customer's body for a fraction of a penny. And that's the big difference. So how do we do this? We substitute any artist input by data that comes directly from the fabrics. We obtain that data, and we reproduce every single yarn of that garment. And with the construction instructions, everything is produced automatically, and you can interact with any detail in your final design. Okay, that comes in. Oh, there you go. So all these simulations are integrated in a single product suite that is delivered through internet, through our cloud-based architecture, into simple web browsers that are completely usable in low-end devices and allow for collaborative spaces and marketplaces all along the way through production until you reach marketing. So what Seddi today, we've raised 6.6 million in investment. And we've built a strong traction in the industry by also building a portfolio of IP, which is quite solid. And that's thanks to an amazing team, talented team of scientists, developers, and fashion experts. Currently, we are very excited to be doing the pilots with the top brands and manufacturers, and we are preparing ourselves for a launch of our products next year. We are willing to meet seed investors that are willing to share the challenge and the price that comes to disrupting this industry. So thank you very much. I'll be happy to meet you after the talk.